Thank you, Philip. I hope that you can hear me now that I've put my microphone on again. I just want to check that all the delegates have got their microphones off for now. Okay, so I am recording. Perfect. I am recording today's session, and I hope that the connection is good and that all goes well. Right, I see that there is a little bit of a delay between what is being shown on my screen. Let me just re-share my screen. Just bear with me a minute. I see that there's a bit of a delay. Just bear with me. Okay, can you guys hear me and see my screen now? Sorry, I'm not seeing my screen share, so I just wanted to double check. Of course, when these things start, things go a bit pear-shaped. Okay, all right, no problem. I do apologize for that. All right, so as Philip mentioned, we're looking at protecting PDFs today and digital signatures. Now, you might be wondering why we're putting both of these together in the same category, and it's because the digital certificates that we make in order to be able to digitally sign a document within Acrobat is exactly the same certificate that we can use to protect our documents over and above just using a password if we need to. Right, so I'm on Windows here. I'm just going to open Acrobat a moment, and what you can see here is, yes, this is my normal home screen, and we're going to be looking at certificates that are available. So if you need to digitally sign a document and you have your tools window open at the top here, please do not use the fill and sign. This is not for digital signatures at all, and do not use the Adobe sign unless you have that allocated to you. You need to ensure that you have the certificates option available. So I'm going to click on add in my screen, and you will see here on the left hand side, I'm just going to minimize this a moment, that I now have certificates that are available on the right hand side. Sorry, somebody's got their microphone on. Please, can you switch it off? Okay, let me try and switch it off from our side. Hold on a moment. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Right. Philip, just as I can't see any questions, if there is something while I'm talking, if you can just monitor the chat pod and then just stop me along the way if I need to, because I can't view the screen and the application at the same time. All right, so just to go back, we have set up certificates and we've put them on the left hand or the right hand side of the screen. That means it doesn't matter which document I have open, I have this ability to be able to get to the certificates to be able to either digitally sign or to protect my document. Right, so I'm going to, the very first time you need to set up your digital identity in Acrobat. You do it once if you're using a self-sign. So self-signed means you're creating your own one on your machine that is going to represent yourself, and it is not one that is purchased from a third-party provider. Now, think of a digital certificate like an aeroplane ticket, or if you've never flown anywhere, like a movie ticket or a ticket into a concert or whatever it is. There's always two parts to that particular thing. There's the part that you keep, which is the private part, and you've got the part that you hand either to the air hostess when you show her your ticket, or the ground crew, or when you go into the concert, you hand them the other portion. And that is what we call the public part of your digital ID. So to create a digital identity for the first time, if you're signing something, it will pop up automatically, but I'm going to show you here. If we go into the edit menu, if you're on Windows and you come down to preferences, right? And we're going to come down here. Yes, it is under signatures, but we need to be able to create what we call here. And I'm just going to highlight this a moment. Let me just put my pointer on, so that people can see where it is that I am pointing to. Hold on. All right, so here you can see identities and trust certificates. All right, so when I click on that, I'm going to click on the More button that's over here. Right, and this is going to bring me up to a section that is going to allow me to create my certificate for the first time. And as I mentioned, these certificates can be used either to protect documents or to be able to sign with a digital certificate. So now we're going to create the first one here. So we're going to go here and add a new one. Right, and now it's going to ask me, do I have an existing one? Right, do I want to have a roaming one that comes from a server? Do I have to connect a device to my machine? So again, depending if you've got a different type of certificate, but we're going to create a new one here. So we're going to go to this last option here at the bottom, and that is going to be select a new digital identity. We're going to say next. All right, now we've got two different places. We can either save it somewhere on our computer, or we can use our Windows Store. You can use the Windows Store as the default unless your IT people have told you otherwise. Right, we're going to click on next. Right, now this is going to come up with the information that I want to have, that when somebody validates my signature, that they know who I am. Right, so we're going to say that this is Carla Ralph. I'm going to say I'm from the training department, and today for this example I'm going to be working for Learning Curve. Okay, you can put in your email address if you need to. So let's put the email address in. Right, and then my country, that's going to be ZA for South Africa, right near the bottom. Right, and then the algorithm is when it encrypts your document, whether you've signed your document or whether you're securing your document, what encryption do you want to use? And I always suggest that you use the higher of the two encryptions, 2048-bit encryption. And then here I have a choice. What do I want to use this identity for? Do I want to use it for a digital signature? Do I want to encrypt a document with it? Or do I want to use it for both? So you might want to have different ones for different things, and you can choose either one. I usually set it up for both, and then I'm going to say finished. Right, so now you can see here, this is the one here that I've just created. It says it's Carla, I'm in the training department, and it's telling me for how long my digital identity on this machine is available. Right. Please note, if your machine crashes or you need to reinstall your software or something along those lines, you will have to create a new digital identity, or even if you lose your password, you're going to have to create a new one. Right, so I'm going to close there for now. And then if I'm using it for digital signatures, I want to have a display of what my signature should look like. All right, so I'm going to come to the top section here, and this is creation and appearance. Right, and I'm going to click more. And in here, it's just got, okay, that when I'm signing, do I need to show a reason? Do I need to show my location if I need to? Must I allow a revocation status if it is applicable? You know, enable review of document warning. So you've got a couple of options that are available here. And what I want to go and do now is I want to go and create the appearance. Right, so I'm going to click on New. All right, and this is the default. It will normally say your name in huge big letters, and then it will say, you know, what your common name is, your date, and the time, and all of that. So for me, this is not really relevant on the way that I want it to look. So I'm just going to put here Carla, and let's call it Demo. All right, and you can choose now, do I want to have the Adobe Acrobat logo in the background? So I can say yes or no, maybe no graphic. Maybe I want to import a graphic. So this is nice when you want to import what your signature should look like. All right, so if you click on that, you can now say File. And you can now go and browse to find your particular signature that you want to go and get. If it's a logo for your institution, you can even choose your logo. You can even maybe have your logo with your signature on top of it if you want to include both of those. So let me just go and find a signature that I can use. There we go. I'm just going to use this signature today, and I have my signature that is available. Okay, so maybe we'll call this Jane, so I know which one it is. All right, and then what must it show? So this section over here says which of these elements must be visible. The name, the date. If I need location, you can see it's now put location. If I need to give a reason, you can see it's got the reason. So again, depending on your circumstances, you can have different digital identities. So you could have one when you're approving documents and you have to put either rejected or approved or whatever. You might have other ones where you don't need a reason. So you could have different ones. Okay. And then here, the logo, yes or no, the Adobe logo. So maybe I don't want that, right? And I'm now going to say, okay, so what I've done is I've created an appearance and I've created a digital identity for myself, right? And I only have to do that once in a while. I don't have to do it every single time, right? So we're going to go out of there now and we're going to say, okay. And we're going to go and open a document that we need to. So I'll first show you how to digitally sign with a document, and then I'm going to show you how to secure your document using this digital identity as well. So let's go to documents. Let's find a document that we can sign. No, let's not use that one. There we go. And I'm looking for sign. Okay, so I'm going to open up a particular document. Here we go. So here I have my document. I can change the view if I need to. So here is my document. Maybe I just want to make it a little bit bigger. Right. And let's say, for example, I need to fill in the information on this document. So there are multiple ways to do this. One would be to create an interactive form, and that we will be covering in a session on the 28th of August. So there'd be specifically for interactive forms. We're going to be covering that there. But this might be a once-off thing for myself. So you can choose to fill and sign. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to say myself, but I'm not going to use it for the signature process, because that is the least secure method of signing a document. There's no audit trail. There's nothing that is that can prove that it's me. But I want to use this tool purely for the typewriter tool that is in there. So let's go and say, let's say this is going to be, the contract is to, let's say, Joe Blogs. All right, maybe he's located in Johannesburg. Right, and as I come down a little bit more, let's scroll down. Right, he might need to print his name here. Let's do that again. Okay, and I might need to put a date. It's the 4th today. All right, so I'm going to leave it at there. I don't want to use the signature functionality from that. I only want to use the typewriter tool. So I'm going to say close now. So now all my information is in the document. And now I want to digitally sign with my digital certificate. Now, everything I've showed you up until this point is available in the free reader as well. So the reason why I'm telling this to you, I know that you have the full version of Acrobat. If you don't, reach out to Philip and your IT department. They'll sort that out for you. But you might have students that need to come on board and need to fill in a document and sign, and you can then know how to tell them how to fill it out with the free reader. Right, so I'm going to come down now, and then on the side here you saw I had this certificates option that was available, the one that I put on in my tools. Remember, I added it here. So now this means that it's available for me at any time with any document that I am looking at. Right, now at the top, I've got a couple of options that are available to me. So the first one is a digital signature. So I'm going to click on this, and most people don't read their dialog box, but the important thing to take note here is it says use your mouse and click and drag, sorry, I'm not doing this very straight, the area where you want to sign. Okay, so I'm going to click and drag where I need to be able to sign my document. All right, so now it's going to pop up with this digital identity. So I said to you that you could have different identities that you wanted. If you had never created the one before in the steps I'd showed you before, you could click on here, and that would take you to exactly the same place for you to be able to create a digital identity. Right, I'm just going to go cancel for a moment. But here is the one that I created today. Right, so I'm going to select that. I can view the details just to check that it is the correct one. Maybe I had more than one more than one digital identity. So I'm happy with that. That is the correct one that I want. And I'm now going to say continue. Right, so can you see here, I said to you by default it's going to have this huge big name. It's going to say your name and all the information. But remember, we created an appearance. Okay, so here at the top it says appearance, and I can now come to the drop down menu, and here's the one I created called Jane Demo. Right, so can you see that had the copy of my signature, and I'd got written of the logo on the background, and then you can see it was signed by me, the date and the time. Okay. Now, this is quite important. If you are the only person that needs to sign this document, nobody is going to sign it after you, all right? Then you can say here, I want to lock the document after signing this particular document, okay? If that is not the case, then you have to leave it unlocked so that other people, if they've got signature fields that they need to sign in, that they complete those particular fields. All right. In the session on interactive forms, I will cover how you can make a signature field and just allocate it to one particular person, but we'll cover that in the form section. Right. I'm now going to say sign. All right. It will always prompt you to save your document. So I'm just going to save this on the desktop. And I'm going to say here, Joe Blogs. and I'm going to say save. Right, here you can now see that my document has been signed by myself. There is my pretend signature that I have today, and here is the other information. Right, so here across the top, I now have this new bar that says that all documents are signed and valid. All right, if you don't have a little green tick, so let's say, for example, I've signed the document and I've now sent it off to Philip, and Philip opens my document and he sees I don't have a little tick here, but I have either a little yellow triangle with an exclamation mark. That means that my computer and my Acrobat does not recognize that particular person. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the signature panel, all right? And here you're going to see the signature options that are available. So if there were 3 people that needed to sign, you're going to see 3 different signatures, right? I can click on the little drop-down menu here. I'm just going to drag this out just a little bit so you can see it a little bit more. And it's going to give me all the information. So it says there's my email address. My signature in my case is valid. Yours would say invalid or needs to be, and it will tell you here the reasons why. Okay, so if the signature is not valid, you can click on the option, okay, here where it says signature details. You can click on certificate details, and this is where the person can now validate whether it is the right person. Okay, so yes, it is, I am the right person in my example because I can see my name and my email address and the department that I'm from and everything. Okay, if it's from a third party, you will usually see the name of the company that provided their certificate for that particular person, and you can then come here to trust, and you can add it to your trusted list. So let's say, for example, I get a document from Philip. I know Philip is from Learning Curve. I recognize all his details here. I know who he is. I can come here and say, add to my trusted certificates. And then what will happen, it will just give you some more information and say, what am I trusting it for? And you can then say what you are trusting it for. Okay? Then you'll say okay, and what should happen is that exclamation mark should now convert to a tick to say that you now reckon. So now anytime you get a certificate or a document that's signed by that particular person, it will recognize them. So what is happening is, remember I spoke about the aeroplane ticket, and I said that aeroplane ticket has a private and a public piece, the small piece and the big piece, and it's the joining together of those particular dots. All right, I can also here, if there has been a change to the document, so sometimes it will come up here with an exclamation mark, and that exclamation mark, and the reason will be, it says the document has been modified. So can you see here, mine says my document has not been modified since it was signed. Okay, now if I have 2 people that need to sign this particular document, all right, so I'm just going to close this a minute. Right, I'm going to go to the free reader a moment. All right, I'm going to open the document. It's called Joe Blogs. Okay. All right, so here's all the information for that particular person that is in there. You can see it's trying to validate the signature. So it recognizes my signature, but I now need to sign my own. Okay. So that means in the free reader, if I don't have the tools here, I can just write there digital, right? And you can see here it says digitally sign. I can click on there. Again, the same instructions. And I'm now going to draw out a section. And maybe in this particular example, I need to create a new one. Okay, so this is exactly the same steps as I did before, but I'm in the free reader. You can see here it says Jane Doe. I've got my details. I'm just going to leave it as that for now. It's got what it's going to look like. I could have an appearance. Let's say I didn't. And I'm going to sign the document. It's going to prompt me to save it. I'm just going to call it number 2. And you can see now I've got here Jane Doe. It was signed by Jane Doe and everything. Okay. So now, let's go back. I'm going to just minimize the reader. I'm just going to go back to my full version of Acrobat. And I'm going to open that new document. Number 2. Okay, so now here comes a warning. It says, okay, I don't want to install them right now. I'm just going to leave those as they are. Okay, but as I come to the signature panel, right, can you see here that I don't have the little tick marks? I've got like, I need to review this. Can you see here that it says the signature is not verified in any way? Okay, so if I click on this, I can view this version of the document, and it says you're currently viewing a signed version, right? And as I scroll down, I can see what the version was of the document when that particular person signed, when the first person signed. Okay, when I go to step back and I come to the second one, all right, and I click on view this version, can you see now I get to see the document with both signatures on it. So you can see that Acrobat will tell you, either the signature was not verified or whatever it is. Here it's asking that the signatures need to be validated. It's a bit difficult because I'm on the same machine, but what I wanted to show you here is that at any time you can step back and view the document at the time when the person sent it, and you can see what changes, if there were changes that took place within that document. Okay, so that is digital signatures, right? Just to summarize, you create a signature once and you can use it for the duration of the period that it is available on your particular device, all right? Digital signatures are not friendly with mobile phones unless you have what we call a third-party digital signature, which is from a different provider. So what I've shown you up until now is what is available within Acrobat. Okay, so let's go to another document and let's see how we can use digital certificates to secure a document. All right, so let's go into the document now. Let's go to here, go to security. Sorry, let me just see where I was. Okay, I'm just going to use any particular document that there is. If I could find it, it would be phenomenal. Let's go in. Okay, so let's use this particular document here. Okay, so here I have a document, right? It has been typed up, it's been converted to a PDF. Now I want to certify that the version of this document is the version that I created at the time I'm sending it out. Okay, so there are different ways that I can protect this particular document. So what I'm going to be talking about now is not necessarily protection, but certification. All right, so again, I'm going to click on that certificates icon over here. Right, can you see here at the top of my screen, I've got certify with a visible signature or certify with an invisible signature, right? So if I am certifying like the version of those notes or that agreement or whatever it was is certified by me that it is correct, I can choose whether I want to still see my signature on it, so they'll see the signature and it will be certified, or if I just want to certify. And I'm going to certify using an invisible signature, and I'm sure you've come across these documents already. Okay, so it just says you're about to certify a document. All right, you can get an ID from a partner if you need to, but I'm just going to go in here and say okay, right? And guess what? Here it's showing me my digital identity. Right, so I'm going to choose this one that I had before earlier on. Just check that it's the correct one. Yes, it is. I'm going to say continue. All right, and now it says what is permitted when I certify this document, so I can view the certificate details inside here. But what is permitted? Am I going to allow people to fill in a form and sign? Am I going to say absolutely no changes to this document is permitted? Or am I going to allow them to make comments, fill in a form, and sign a document? So if a document has to go through a review cycle first, you're going to choose annotation or whichever one you want to choose. So let's say, for example, I'm going to state here they're going to be able to fill in a form and do annotations, right? Then review the document's content may be affected by signing, so I can review it, you know, and I can check which settings I want to have here. So, you know, does the PDF contain error? Is it unrecognized? Usually you can just, you don't have to go through this step first, but you can do first. It says, I have included the content to make the document more interactive, whatever your settings are. And then you can then go and sign this particular document. As mentioned before, I cannot I can go and rename it to something else. So let's just call it certified. All right. And now when I say close, you can see I have a certified icon. It doesn't show me a pen anymore. It says by me, the training department, and I can still go and view the signature, but this time you can see I've got like a, what do you call it, a rosette, and it's showing me all the details, and it's telling me what is permitted within this document. That it is a valid certified document, it's signed by me, the current user. I can look at my signature details if I need to, and I can look at the trusted content if I need to. Right, so that is what we call a certified document. Your signature is not necessarily visible on the document, but it is certified that it's the correct version or authenticity or whatever it is that you need. Okay, so let me close that. So there we have used one digital identity that we created. First step I showed you was to apply a physical signature on the document. The second one was to certify the document. And of course, if I had chosen to sign and certify, it would have been a combination of all of those. Right, so let me open this uncertified version of the document. And let's look at some other protection options that you can have. Now, one of the questions I get asked on such a regular basis is, if I've received an invoice from somebody else, it won't allow me to sign that document, or it won't allow me to merge that document with other PDF documents, or I can't comment on that particular document. And that is set up by the protection that was applied to that particular document at that particular point in time. So if you'd So by just adding your signature to a document, that is modifying it from its original, and the originator of that document might have stated, no, that's not the case, that's not what they wanted. Okay, so I'm going to come to the little search bar. So how did I get that? Just to show you again here for those that didn't see it. Okay, sorry, I just got to hide that little tool a minute. Okay, so here on the right-hand side is a magnifying glass, right? So this is for any tools that you're looking for that is not in your quick list, right? What do I want to do? I want to protect my document. Now there are different protection methods that are available, right? So one method of protection is to stop somebody from copying or from printing or something along that lines, okay? The other method might be I want to redact information off that document, so that is also a form of protection. So I'll go through that if we've got some time at the end. Okay, so underneath here I want to restrict editing, or you could type your password. So maybe you want to do a password on your document. You can see the options are going to come up that are available. Right, so let's protect this document. So now it says, how do I want to protect this document? Do I want to protect it with a certificate? So that's what I just showed you in the previous step. Do I want to encrypt it using a password? Or perhaps in your institution, you've got some security policies that have been put in place and you could just select one of those. All right, so I'm just going to put here protect a minute, and I'm going to choose this restrict editing option. Before I do that, if you come under tools, if you scroll down just a little bit, here is protect, and you can say add, and it can protect your document. Right, so if we come in here, clicking on that will open these options here. So protect using a password, remove hidden information, or some advanced options. First one, protect using a password. Okay, really simple. Do I want to protect them from viewing the document? I need to put a password in before they can even see the document that they want. Or I want to prevent them from editing the document, and I can go and put a password in there. Of course, try and have a strong enough password, so like you would do for anything else. Right? And I can now, it says it's successfully protected, right? And if I open it up on the side here, let me just go to view. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the panels here. Okay, so when I've protected my document, you'll always see that there is a padlock on the left-hand side, and that will give me the details that are available. So it's telling me I'm allowed to print this document, I'm not allowed to make any changes or copy the content, and I am allowing for accessibility in case there's a screen reader. I am allowing for page extraction, for commenting, form field signing. So you can see what the options are that are available there. Okay. I'm going to show you somewhere else that you can go. So instead of going that, especially if you need to remove a password, if you come to the File menu and you choose Properties, okay, it's going to open up this particular panel, and you'll see the second tab at the top here says Security. Okay, so as I click on that now, you can see I came to the same place, so you don't have to go via the side panel. You can get to here as well. And can you see that the method of security here was password protection? So if you want to take the password off the document, you can say change settings, and here is the password. If you are the person that put the password on, you can see it's really easy, and I can come in here and just change my settings and say okay. Right? If I was not the person, I would need to put in the actual password to be able to protect this, to unprotect this document. So I wouldn't see the screen, I'd get a password screen first. Right, so I just wanted to talk about these options here, and I'm going to go from the different screen. Right, let's close this. Let's open another document. Okay, so here's my document. I want to protect it. Click on the right hand side under protect. Right, can you see here's some options here that say advanced options? I can either choose the advanced options from here, or I can go to File, Properties, Security, and can you see there's no security on this document right now? Right, so I can use the same method to add a password, to add a certificate, security, and if you are a large organization that happens to have Adobe Experience Managed Document Security, you could use that method as well. So let's say, for example, again, we want to put password security. You can see it's opened the screen. Is there a password to open the document? Is there a password to restrict editing? Okay, is printing allowed? Low resolution, that's on your normal printed down the passage, or high quality printing, it means they take it to the likes of a jet line or a printer or something like that to get it printed, right? So you can choose. Are changes allowed? Yes, they can insert, delete, or rotate pages from your document. They can fill out a form and sign. They can comment, fill out a form and sign, or they can do anything to the document except they're not allowed to extract the pages. All right, so you can see there are a couple of options that are available. So if you are securing a document and you do require that other people sign the document, you need to ensure that it says here, filling in the forms and signing. If there's commenting and review, make sure you choose the correct settings. Right. Do I want to enable the copying of text, images, and other content? So what this means is, if I click cancel here, if they highlight your document that has not been protected and they right click, can you see it says that they can copy or copy with formatting? All right. If you do state there that they need to, sorry, I just want to go back to where I was. Properties, security. Okay. If you do state that if you tick this, then they will, or deselect it, then they will not be able to copy and paste text out of your document at all. All right, and then here are the different passwords that you can put in, and you can even encrypt the metadata and all the contents, and you can choose what is the minimum version of Acrobat that they need to be able to view this document. Right, so let's put a password in here. I'm going to say no printing allowed, no changes are allowed, and I'm going to put there, I'm just going to make it really small so that I can remember. You're going to be prompted to put the password in again. All right. And when I say OK, I need to save this document first. So if I don't know why that keeps on closing there, let me just put it back up. Sorry about that, people. Right. So I need to save my document before the security will be applied. So I'm just going to say save as, just so that I don't damage my original file. Let's put it on the desktop. give it a name and save it. Okay, so now you will notice that if I try and right click, see, it won't let me edit the text. It's going to prompt me to put in the password. If I try and print the document, can you see printing is not allowed? It's only allowed to be viewed on the screen. So you can see there are the different options that are available to you protecting the document. Okay. Let me show you now how to put up a particular policy. All right, so let's say, for example, I want to send one document to a person, and one person must be allowed to print it, and maybe somebody else is not allowed to print it. Okay, so let's open the document again. I just need to check that it's not the locked one. So you can see it doesn't have security anywhere in the title. If I open one that was locked, let's use this one here. Can you see here at the top, it's stating that the document is secured. So that's a quick way to see whether there is security on a document or not. Right, so here we go. We've got a document. We come to protect. Okay, now if I come under advanced options here, okay, so yes, I've got some security policies. Here's one that I've already created, but we want you to create one for the first time. All right, so you can go on to manage policies, and perhaps your IT people might want to create this for the first time and then just roll it out. It's up to you. And you can click here where it says new. So I click on new, and then it says, okay, what are we going to use for this particular document? Do I want to use passwords? Do I want to use a certificate? Remember, certificate is my digital identity, so I can use some of those. So if I use password, I can have all those settings that I had set up before already checked. So when I quickly apply that security setting, I don't have to go through all the windows and add all the passwords and everything over and over again. If I use public certificate, and sorry, I'm just trying to scroll down here a bit, and I say next, right, I can give this a name. So let's call this learning curve webinar, right? What do I want to do? I want to encrypt all the document's contents, all right? And I want to put the strictest possible security on the document, right? You can give a description, what it's going to be used for, what is this used for, or whatever instructions you've got, right? And now, can you see it's trying to pick up my digital identity? All right, so this means that if I'm sending it to this person, I'm putting my identity on first. Okay, now I want to send it, let's say, for example, to Philip or to somebody else. I can add their digital identity. So before I do that, I just want to show you how you can get that from somebody. Okay, again, this is something that just needs to be done once. Let's just open this document that we signed here. Sorry, I'm just opening it a moment. All right. So remember when I signed this document and I said to you, you can go and view the certificate. Let's go and view that version. And sorry, if you right click on a signature, you can come here to show the signature property. So as I click in there, I can click on validate. I can click on show the signer's certificate. Okay. So if I want to add, let's say, my for this document, I want to have all rights. One other person must only be able to print, and one other person must just be able to view. You need to tell that person to send you the public part of their certificate, and that is done. They will go into their Acrobat to their certificate, so you can't do this for them. All right, and when you come under under summary, can you see here it says export? All right, and when they export it, you can choose that they can export a file for you, a certificate file. So this is what they're going to be sending to you, right? And it's going to prompt them where they need to save it. And can you see here, this says, let's just maybe call this Bob, just so that I don't get confused. Okay, so this is Bob, and I could have a Jack and a Jill and whoever I needed. All right, and we say next, and it's going to, this piece of information here is the public part. So their name, their company, and their email address, and their the country. Right. So this means that when you want to go and apply a certificate to a document, right, and I come in here and let's go to, let me just go and make a new one here. Sorry, I had to step out a second. I'm going to use public certificates. Okay, we gave this one, let's call it a test. Okay, let me say next. Right, here where it's asking for a digital identity, so this is for my digital identity. I can even go and say add, and I can now go and look for another one. All right, so I can go here, device, no, it's not device, I'm looking for a file. All right, and I'm going to go and look for the name. So let's go and get the name. So they would have emailed this to you. Sorry, sorry, I'm in the wrong place. Sorry, my mistake. Sorry, I need to go OK first. And here's where I need to add. Sorry, I need to go and add for another person. I'm going to go to the desktop. Here's Bob. And I'm going to say open. Okay, did it add it now? Let me just see. Okay, and then so you would list all the people, and then you can choose the permissions. Okay, so what permission is that particular person allowed to do? Okay, so they can, I said I need to be able to print, and I'm allowed to do any changes, or maybe they can only, they're only allowed to print it. Right, then I can go and search for another person, and I can go and add another identity, and you can have all the various people. So if you know that these are the people I'm always sending it to, those lower down the food chain can only just view it, but those that are further up need to be able to sign. I can do it from there as well. Right, and then you would just have whatever the policy is, and you apply it to the document, and you save the document, and they will then have a protected document. And then the last one, because I've only got a few minutes left, is you can create a security envelope. Okay, so think of that as one of those internal envelopes that are secure. So you can put whatever you want into this particular envelope. So you can choose, and there are some templates, so you can choose the documents that you want to have. Sorry, I need one that's not locked, because I've gone and locked it. Give me 1 minute here. Going to choose anyone here. Let's maybe go to all right, so here I've got a document. Okay, I need to secure this. I can click on protect. I come to advanced. I choose secure, create a security envelope. All right, and then here I can go and choose which document it is. So it's this document, and I can add. So you can see you can add multiple documents that you want to enclose at any particular point in time. All right, so I've got all my documents. Then you can go and say next, and this is what the envelope needs to look like. There's a title, and there are a couple of interdepartmental ones, or a date and a stamp you can choose. How do I want to send it later or send the envelope now? I'm just going to say later so I can show you. If you've got any policies, remember, here's my security policy. Here's the one I did before. So you can quickly apply it to your document. And then you can say finished. It's going to prompt me for a password. Let's say this password is to open. So I'm just going to put it 1, 2, 3, 4 just for now. Okay, and here will be my security envelope that the person will receive. This is what it would look like, their name, their address. I can put the details that I want to put in there. It's got the date and time, and here would be the list of documents that I've included in that document if I needed to when I sent it. So they would need one password to open this when I email it to them, but they will have access to all the files here. All right, so let me go into the questions and let's see what questions there are. Let's have a look under the commenting here. All right, okay, so Arnold, let's start from at the top quickly. Okay, let's have a look. Sorry about the bad quality. I never saw that. Nobody told me, so I do apologize about that. Hopefully the recording will have it better for you. Okay, let's go down a little bit. Okay, if I do not have a certificate, how do I activate that? So Paula, you can either go into Protect for the first time, draw out your square, and it will prompt you to make a certificate for the first time. Or if I just minimize this a moment, so the first way, let's go here, is if you go to certificates and you draw out and you say digitally sign or certificate and you draw it out, it will prompt you to make a new certificate if you don't have one here, configure a new one. The other option, like I showed you, would be to go to your edit menu under preferences, and then here under signatures, and then the third one down, identities and trusted certificates, you could make one there as well. Okay, let's go in. Okay, let's see. Can you import your self-signed certificate to another device? Oh, yes, you can. So you can export it, but you need to be able to, it will only be to another laptop or computer. It will not work on your phone. So digital identities and certificates don't work on your phone unless it's a third party from, by a third party I mean one from either the Law Trust or Trust Factory or one of those, and they usually have a fee attached to them. Okay, how do I use a digital signature to initiate the bottom page of official documents? Oh, to initial. Okay, so Varo, you would need to create two digital ones, one with your initials and one with your full signature, but digital signatures and digital certificates do not really support initials. You'd need to use a product like Adobe Sign, or the one that's least secure, which is the fill and sign that is available. Okay, thanks for the update, Wendy. I hope that in the recording it will not be as fuzzy because I've got my screen on full resolution. Okay, let's have a look here. If one needs to the date to be changed on the signature, does one have to go back to the create stage? Okay, so Peggy, when you apply your signature to the document at the time, that is when the date and time stamp would be applied, and it will be the date and time from your computer. All right, so it means that every signature you create from then going onwards, every time you sign a document, it will take the date and time from your computer at that point in time when you did it. Okay, so Arnold, you asked what is the exporting signature file all about? So that is if you need to move it from one device to another, if you want to back it up before you're getting a new computer, or when you're applying security and I need to send my certificate to somebody else so that they can attach it to a document. Just remember, when they are attaching the certificate, they are not using it. They are just saying that when you get that file, so what happens is I attach a file. Let's say I'm going to use you, Arnold. You send me your public part of your identity. I attach it to my file. And then I take, let's say, for example, Philip's, and we take Peggy's as well. And we got these 3 certificates. I attach it to the one document. To each of you, I've given different options that you can do. When I send the document out, if I am not Peggy or Arnold or Philip, they will not be able to open the document in any way. All right, so this is the highest level of security that Acrobat can support. If it is Arnold, what happens is the document says, oh, I see your public part of the certificate that you shared, and I am now going to match it with your private part that's still on your machine and validate that it's really you. Yes, it is you. So let me then let you in, and this is the permissions that you have. So I hope that that was able to answer you there. Were the other 2 sessions recorded? One of them was recorded. That was the last week ones on Adobe Sign, and you can reach out to Philip. He'll be able to share that with you. How does one protect the signature so that it cannot be copied and used fraudulently? So, Peggy, the idea is to keep it in a safe location, and it's within Acrobat. And because when you create your signature for the first time, it has a password. So that means that every time you sign with a certificate or a digital signature, it's going to prompt you to put your password in. So make sure that your password is really secure. Uppercase, lowercase, special characters, and a really long one. That is the easiest way to do that, so that people don't just guess what your signature is. Okay, so it says here, Mandla is asking, after the first signature was captured, it was verified. Now, when the second signature is added, do you have to verify, verify them both again? You only need to verify the first signature for the person on your machine. And if you add it to your trust list, then you won't have to verify it again. If it is the first time you're receiving a document, let's say, for example, it's a 50-page document and you're using digital signatures in Acrobat instead of Adobe Sign, and you're applying a digital signature on every single page, then, and it's the first time, yes, you will have to validate each of those. So I hope that answers your questions. Remember, a digital certificate or a digital signature is created to sign or certify a document once. So usually one signature on the document is sufficient, but if it is either a legal document or one of those where you do need to sign 50 pages, then I would suggest Adobe Sign be the better option that you can use. Okay, let's see here. Using signature versus certificate, using both. Similarly different, when would you use one for which purpose? Okay, so Arnold, so you create a digital identity, right? That identity can be used to sign documents, to prove that you are the person that is signing the document. When you're using a certificate, people don't use certificates often, but let's say, for example, somebody in your institution writes a document, and you need to validate that that is the correct document at that date and time, and that there were no changes made to, and that document is valid for a certain point of time. Then you will add a certificate. So you are certifying the content in the document. You are not signing. So it can be used either you can sign or you can certify, or if you need to be able to certify the document and show your signature, it can be used for both. Okay, what is the effect of encrypting a document? So what an encryption does is it secures the document, that if it's in motion, let's say, for example, it's in an email as an attachment, and if somebody tries to hack that particular document, that when they get the information, it's not, let's say, not like reading the text, jump over the fence or whatever it is. It's all encrypted with algorithms and that. So when they open it, it looks like gobbledygook until they've got the permission to read that document properly. Okay, so James is asking, do the participants need to have an Adobe ID in order for these settings to apply? So James, I'm assuming that you're asking about digital identities. So if you are using Acrobat or Acrobat Reader, you are creating an a digital identity within that application, and this is totally different from an Adobe ID. So you can use, or your students or whoever can have a free Acrobat Reader account with no Adobe ID, and they would be able to apply a signature or a security to the document. Okay, let's have a look here. Can a signature be created without a date and time? Not a digital signature, no. Let's just quickly check. I suppose you could state when you're creating your appearance. Let's go in here. When I say a new appearance, here you can say, do I want the date? So yes, you can take the date out. So you can see it's not visible here. So yes, the answer is yes. You can do that. It might not be visible, but it will still be under the settings on the side here. You'll see it, but it won't be visible on the actual document itself. Okay. How do I refresh a password in case it requested password and I forgot it? Okay, so Butamelo, if you can't remember the password, unfortunately you're going to have to create a new digital identity. Delete the old one and keep and do the new one and remember your password. Okay, so Peggy's asking, if you send a document to someone that you have signed, how then do you avoid the signature being copied? Can anyone click and edit? Okay, so Peggy, if you are the only person that is to sign and nobody is going to be signing after you, all right, when you go and apply your digital ID, you have this ability here to lock the document after signing. All right, then what happens is no changes can be made to that document afterwards. Therefore, they will not be able to go and copy your signature. There's nothing preventing them from taking a screenshot, you know, where there's it's the same as in real life. How do you know that somebody's not signing your signature and it's not you? You know, they could fraudulently sign your signature even with a pen. So the same rules will apply. I hope that answered that question there. All right. Okay, so I think those are all the questions for now. I do apologize for running 10 minutes over, but I did want to make sure that I had all the questions answered. If anybody still has questions or something you're not sure of, please reach out to Philip at learningcurve.co.za and ask him the questions, and if he can't answer them, he will forward them on to me, and I will try and answer them for you. All right. So from my side, thank you very much to everybody that attended your session, this session, and just a quick reminder that the session next week is going to be on share and review, how to send documents for a shared and a review cycle, and I will be including from Microsoft Word at the same time. So from my side, thank you very, very much to everybody for joining, and we will try and get the recording out to you as soon as possible. Thank you. I will stay on if there are any more questions that anybody has, and I will just try and answer them as well.